So I wanted to kind of talk about like evidence of weight loss and how to kind of get ahead of it, because there's kind of a saying that once you see the ribs, you're already behind the ball on it. His ribs started to show when he took deep breaths, or when he turned a certain way, I would see kind of the shadow of his ribs. I don't like to see ribs, okay? So he was not like emaciated, see? He's not, I'm not talking about like ribs and like this, what I call the M, like that's not like indented, right? But when they start to show a little bit of weight loss, that's the time to make your grain adjustment or your hay adjustment, your feeding adjustment. Because if you wait until you, see how it goes, I guess, you're going to end up with a horse that's got a sunken in sides and, prominent rib, visual, and, just their body quality will change quite quickly. So it's not always a dramatic change either. Like, in his case, all I did was add a quarter scoop of grain. Just a quarter, I bumped up his grain ration by a quarter scoop. I didn't go like, oh my God, I gotta start throwing a lot of grain at this horse. Anytime I get a horse that is underweight, like if a horse comes here underweight, like Daisy and this little guy here came in underweight, I don't throw a ton of grain at them and a ton of hay at them. I throw a ton of hay at them, but I don't throw a ton of grain at them, because first of all, their bodies aren't designed to consume grain. They're just really not. It's just like the manufacturer's way of getting food in them cheaper for everybody, right? But their bodies aren't actually designed to break down grain. So I don't throw a lot of grain at them. These people who say, oh, I put 150 pounds on them in a week or something like that. Like, well, you did it wrong. Like, there are many, many medical problems that you can create by overfeeding a horse in a quick way. So, just so you know, every time you want to put weight back on a horse, you do it with a quarter scoop. Quarter scoop for 2 weeks, quarter scoop for 2 weeks, quarter scoop for, and up it in quarter scoops in 2 week periods. Sometimes, depending on how unhealthy they are, it might be a quarter scoop for a month and then another quarter scoop change. Let the grain that you're adding do what it's supposed to do as far as, getting your horse back to a good weight, but do it gradually. Do not pump up your horse and start throwing a lot of grain at them. And if you have a horse you know nothing about their feeding schedule, if they ever had grain or whatever, you start at a quarter scoop. And you feed them a quarter scoop of grain if you want, and then like an eighth of a scoop of like a vitamin grain. You can do that. I would never feed a horse I don't know anything about more than a half a scoop of grain. And a scoop is a 3-quart scoop, so a quart and a half. I would never feed them more than that until I see what that does. I give that a month and see what that does. If that starts to help them put weight on, then I don't change it. I don't change it, because if they're going to gain weight on that, that means that was a sufficient amount of grain to help them come back to a good weight. I don't just throw a lot of grain at them. Don't hurt your horse thinking that you're helping your horse. Have a great day.